Hey, welcome back. We are heading to Crunch Fitness again. Today's gonna be really interesting. I am doing a lower body workout, but it's week one of a brand new workout phase for me, so I've never done this workout. So I'll talk a little bit more about how I handle week one in a new phase. It's very different than how I handle weeks 2 through 4. So here we go. Well, the exercises probably aren't going to be new to me, but the way they're configured will be new. This is a new training phase. My phases are written in 4-week blocks, and so every 4 weeks I'm in a new phase. And so this is week 1 of my new phase, and this is day 1, week 1. So this is my first shot at this workout. And so what I generally do with a new phase, especially week 1, I take week 1 very differently than weeks 2 through 4. Week 1 is kind of a deload week, meaning I don't use max weight at all for anything. It is a get to know you kind of week where you get to know exercises, you focus on technique and form, and just kind of go through the movement and get used to the movements. And then weeks 2 through 4, I tend to start putting the weight back on, and then hopefully by week 4, I have maxed out my weight for this phase for those exercises. It's always a goal for me to do that, to start week 1 with less than max weight and just get to know everything and get solid with technique and the movement. And then weeks 2, 3, and 4, I slowly build on weight to these exercises when I can. So it makes week 4 kind of like the peak week, I guess, and then back to week 1, which is almost like a deload week again, because I'm backing off weights and learning new exercises and that kind of thing. Monday, Tuesday, almost always day 1. If I start later than that, I get all messed up. I can't do it. I just can't. Hey, how are you? What's up, my friend?
How are you?
How are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. All right, so I'm starting over here on the bike per usual. Since it's leg day, I'm going to spend some time over here on the bike getting the hip warmed up, and then do a little bit more dynamic warm up, and then deadlifts are the first thing on the agenda today. Just to loosen up the hip a little bit. Literally, I spend just a couple of minutes on here, and I am on my phone checking messages or doing whatever, all multitasking, trying to get a lot done. But I like to come on here, spend a little bit of time, light resistance, and then I'll do some more warm up before I hit deadlifts for today. So because it's week 1, really focusing on technique today. Really big focus for me, keeping the weight light, feeling movements all around, and seeing how my hip behaves today. It's always a good test. So many people are afraid of foods being bad, or you shouldn't eat this because you're gonna get fat, you shouldn't have pizza, you shouldn't have cake, you shouldn't have whatever. And the response has been amazing. I'm just telling people, look, you can have that stuff. You should have that stuff. You just have to do it in moderation. That's it. Life's too short not to have pizza or chocolate or donuts for that matter. What's up?
How are you?
How's it going?
It's good, upper body day.
Yeah? How is it?
A lot of shoulder stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. What is it for you?
A new program.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It's week 1, week 1, day 1. So I'm setting up for my deadlifts. I'm gonna do a bit of a warm up before I actually do these. But if you notice, I am setting them up on top of plates. This is how I do deadlifts now. I never pull from the floor anymore, and mostly it's because my back is just not in a great position. My back doesn't like pulling from the floor. Because I am built the way I'm built, getting the plates up a little higher, meaning we're just kind of raising the floor up a little bit, puts me in a better position, a stronger position, and a safer position. And honestly, it doesn't matter whether you pull like this or you pull from the floor. It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna get stronger and get as many benefits as if I was pulling off the floor, but it's gonna be better and safer for me. And so preactivation is just a way to get some muscles warmed up. It's another way of warming up. You wanna engage them, get them activated before you actually work out. So my preactivation is going to be a 45-degree back extension. I'm not gonna use any weight. The purpose of it is to get my glutes warm. So I'm gonna do a couple sets of 20 reps on the back extension machine. On to deadlift. So these are going to be touch and go, meaning I'm going to lightly come down, touch the plate, and then come right back up instead of resetting after each rep. A little different. So I'm going to stay at this weight this week. If this were week 2, 3, and 4, I would be putting on more weight as I go. This is a very doable weight for me, but this is week 1, so I want to focus on my technique on this week, get used to the touch and go style of lifting. I haven't done this in a while, so it takes a ton of control because you don't want to slam the bar down. You want to come down with control and just lightly tap. So working on control, and then as I go through the month, I will add weight as I can. This TV always has Friends on. Always. All right, so in between a lot of lower body exercises, I do a little bit of a reset with my hip. And so one of the exercises that my movement doc, Matt, has given me to do is to get my pelvis to turn as opposed to me twisting like this. If you can see the difference between me just twisting and me moving my entire pelvis. What I do is I get a glider on my back foot, I put my weight over here, I brace hard, and what I'm trying to do is twist my pelvis without my knee, without this knee going that way. So there's a lot of stuff to think about with this. This doesn't look like a whole lot, but when my hip starts feeling tight, that's an internal rotation. I go externally as well. All right. Okay, so now I have an RDL with a 5-count eccentric. 5-count eccentrics are brutal. What that means is I'm going to take 5 counts, 5 seconds, to lower the bar. But here's the thing with RDLs, and I think this is really important to understand with these. It's not, for RDLs, it's not about how low you come down like this. Because what happens is once you get down past a certain point, you've lost all the contraction up in your hamstrings and your glutes. You've just lost it all. It's easy to go down there. What's not easy to do is brace your abs super hard, keep your shoulders back, and send your hips way back. Now really the bar is only going to come down to my knees, maybe a teeny bit lower, not much more than that. Because as soon as I go lower than that, I just collapse and I lose everything. So what you want to do is focus on how far back your butt goes, not how low the bar goes. You want to brace super hard here and keep your shoulders back the whole time. And add a 5-count eccentric lowering to that. Holy hell. Here we go. That's hard. Oh my God. So my goal for the month for these, I would love to add, by the end of the month, let's see, this is 115. I'd like to go to 135, 145 and be solid with that by the end of this month. But I'll tell you what, that 5-count slow eccentric, and I don't know if my 5 counts was always a great 5 counts. Might have been more 4-ish, but I'll tell you what, that is no joke. You add a slow eccentric to any move, more time under tension. And with this one, you want to just collapse and let it go, but you can't. So now my core is on fire. That's what I love about these. Your core gets burned up, and when you pay attention to what your shoulders are doing, your shoulders are jacked up too. So I love this move. It's all about everything. Okay, so we've got a couple things I'm going to be combining down here. I have got a single leg hip thrust with an iso hold at the top. These, by the way, are one of the best glute exercises you can do, probably one of the most underrated glute exercises. People say they like to weight them, and honestly, I think if you do a single leg hip thrust correctly, you don't need any weight. They are very effective all on their own, but you can weight them, you can add a band to them, it's all good. I have those, I have a single leg plank, another core exercise, super underrated, seems like shouldn't be a big deal until you try to do it. Then it's a really big deal. Things about this exercise before I do it. First thing is you don't want to grip the bench, you want to have your palms up just so you don't have a death grip on the bench. And the second thing is, if you watch the angle, and I'll have Josh come around to the side of my knees when I get set up, my knees will be at a 90-degree angle, so I'm gonna look like this. So my knees are close to a 90-degree angle. That's what you wanna keep. My palms are up. I'm gonna keep my chin tucked. I'm not gonna be like this. Keep my chin tucked. My shoulders are on the bench right now. What I'm gonna do, lift one foot off the ground. Don't do this. This puts your back in a weird position as you lower, so just keep the knee bent like this. You're gonna push your hips down and push your ribs down at the same time, like this. And then I'm gonna come up, and here's the iso hold right here. Squeezing the glute super hard. Come down, up. Now, if I don't push my ribs down, look what happens. My back arches like this. That feels really uncomfortable. So push your ribs down. And now I'm coming up and holding. Oh boy. Fire. All right, let me get a mat. So single leg plank hold. I'm gonna be on my elbows and my toes, and I'm literally just gonna lift one leg off the ground. It's not gonna be up in the air, it's just gonna be off the ground. I'm gonna hold that leg in that position for 30 seconds. Important to squeeze the glutes, brace the abs, keep the shoulders back and down the whole time. And I'm watching the clock. 5 seconds. Try those. These are great, but they're hard. Okay, so the next exercise is a variation of a shelf. SHELC. Stands for supine hip elevated leg curl. And normally you do these on a ball, legs up on the ball. It's gonna look like this, a regular shelf. You're here, you lift your hips in the air, you curl the ball in, keeping your hips high, and then you curl it back out, keeping your hips high to full extension without letting your hips drop. That's a shelk. I have the challenge of doing a single leg shelk. It's hard enough with 2 legs, but I have to do it with just 1 leg. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get my butt up in the air with both legs on the ball. I'm gonna let go of 1 leg like this, and I'm gonna see how I do. So a couple things about that. First of all, that was brutally hard. Second of all, a couple things that affect difficulty with this. The size of the ball. So I'm using a smaller ball than what I normally use. That was really challenging for me to keep this ball under control. So small, and it's a little underinflated. So the more underinflated something is, the less stable it's gonna be. So it gives even more of a challenge with that. So what happens is your core has to stabilize so hard to keep this guy from doing all this and running and rolling all over the place. So you have to keep super engaged and everything is turned on. Like my belly is sweating. I don't sweat, I'm sweating right now. But now that I see the gym has this small ball out, I'm going for this one all the time because it's way more challenging. I have a lot more that I can work on with this ball. So that is a single leg shelk. You can always start with 2 legs, get solid with 2 legs, and then you can start adding 1 leg, like take a leg off as you come back, roll it in with 2, take a leg off, roll it back with 1. A lot of ways you can progress to a single leg shelk. So give shelks a try if you've never done them. Woo! So that is a banded cable walk back. Set some weight. I had I think about 50 pounds on there. Weight wasn't huge, but it was enough. And then you put a band above your knees. You could put it below, but I like it above. Get a nice wide stance. You're gonna do kind of a monster walk back, sitting as low as you can. When the stack gets to the top, you pulse 12, 10 or 12, doesn't matter. Just as low as you can go. And then, probably the hardest part is doing a controlled monster walk back in, because this is wanting to pull you in really, really fast. You have to decelerate and not let that happen while staying low, while your glutes are on fire. A lot going on with this. Oh my God. Oh my God, my butt. Whew. Numb. Oh. All right. That felt great. All right, so that's pretty much the end of day 1. I have left myself a lot of room to improve, a lot. And I kind of have an idea of how much weight I'm gonna wanna add to my deadlift, the touch and go deadlifts. I have an idea how much weight I wanna add to the RDLs. I'm gonna add some more weight to the cable walkbacks for sure, I can do that. And then the others were not weighted, so I'm just gonna work on really honing in technique for this single leg, iso hold, hip thrust, single leg plank, those kinds of things. So yeah, I'm good to go.